Hi Barry. It's a bit glaring on the water there, unfortunately. Okay. Hi Paul. You alright? Yeah, I think talking about the clay, it's been a bit of extra chat on the old clay on the last video, but yeah, there's definitely less bits floating around in the water, so it's done some of what it says on the tin. Traffic bad there, mate. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know what was going on the A1. We're coming back from Harrogate. I've been to watch the World Cycling Championships, and it was an absolute nightmare getting home. But I'm back now. Hi from Fuerteventura, you lucky person. It's been absolutely horrible here today in most of the UK. Hi Jacob, hi Dean. How's the slimmer? I presume you mean skimmer. Typo. It's not really. I'll show you where I'm up to. You might not see. Not a lot going on anyway. It's not operational just yet. Give me time. You can't rush these things. Berwick was lovely. You really? Absolute carnage in Yorkshire today and coming home. Hi Martin, when am I planning to cover this year? I'm not sure. Probably quite soon, looking at the forecast around this area for next week. Air temperature is going to be down to sort of, well, so the BBC say, sort of 12, 13, 14 degrees. So probably quite soon for covers. Don't want to, like none of us do really, but... Oh. I missed a question there, what's that one? Dean Hargreaves, went to Quinn and spent 600 quid. What? Hope you got something good. Hi Phil, yeah, made it back, one piece. £600. I can never find anything that expensive in Quinny. I know you normally spend sort of 25, 30 quid. New fish looks a tad bigger. Yeah, well, I think they both have put a little bit of size on. Definitely the smaller cheaper, which is over there, has. And the Gimrin Kitsuri, I think filled out a little bit compared to the last picture. But there's no rush. I'm not looking to change the world with the fish. Just keep them healthy is the name of the game at the minute. Especially after previous year of junkness. Your garden is huge. When is you going to next build a big pond? No, I don't know about that. Could have built a big pond, but you need big money to keep it going, don't you? Treatments, heating, water changes, and more fish. I don't know. No new pond just yet. I need to get this right first. Hi Gary Smithy, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for asking. Wee little me, did the Advantage Masters koi work? Yeah, I think so. I was just saying, there's definitely a lot less bits floating around in the water. Not that I had tons of stuff, but there's always bits of this, that and the other floating around. Yeah. I think so. I mean, I'm going to keep using it, so, you know. It's not going to change the world overnight, is it? It's going to be a regular additive putting in, so we'll just see how it goes and where it goes. Supposed to be an Indian summer in October. I hope so. Could do with it for getting some work done. I'm giving it cold this week. Should I calm down with the feed? Yeah, you probably should. Obviously, if it's cooling off, you don't want it, especially you want to probably change your feed to a wheat germ kind of feed as well, if you haven't already. Thank Elmo's Koi. Yeah, it's a good setup, thank you. The fish are okay. I do like them. Dazzling. And what's the pond in dimensions? It's about 3 meters by 3 meters by about 1.5 meters ish deep, which gives me about 3,000 gallons. Now, I've learnt from last time, Barry, when I chucked an absolute mountain of food in and ended up paying for it, didn't I? But I have got a food bucket there, look, and I've got a handful of food, so I will be chucking food in. I haven't been here all day either, so I don't know if anyone's fed them. The girls have been at football, so. See, Dean Hargreaves knows, dig a pond, it takes 6 weeks to lay a pipe. That is correct. Exactly why I shouldn't be bothering doing a pond. If I ever do dig another pond, I'll be getting a bloody digger in, that's for sure. Chris, now look, when is she doing her next video? Deary me. Clay does the same thing, the pond, and works out a lot cheaper. Yeah, probably does. I just fancy giving this a bash. I don't think it was mega expensive. I can't remember how much I paid for it. Quite a lot of places sell it, and the price is very similar, so. Oops. Yeah, food delivery turned up. Can't believe I run out. Jacob, she's starting her own channel. Yeah, she may do, you never know. Oh, look, I'm chucking the food in now, I can't help myself. I'll just pour them in the mouth of this fish, look. Changing the water on a new pond. Yeah, good luck to her on that one, because God knows how big it is. That place was lovely, actually, where we went. I was there. She wasn't filming it with me, not there, actually. Are you mad? Yeah, you got 3 ponds? You are mad. Jeepers. No, it's bad enough when I had McGrow on as well, as this. I don't know about 3, I couldn't manage that. You are crazy. Everyone that keeps koi is crazy, let's be honest. Left my other half to feed my fish tank the other week. Yeah, it can be a bit weird, can't it, when you say to people, just feed the fish, and just go a bit nuts. Do I worry too much about low TDS and thoughts on RO? I have toyed with the idea of running RO. As some of you know, I'm a window cleaner, so I have got vans with 40 ROs in them. So I've got access to plenty of water. But I just think it's just another potential issue at the minute, especially with the issues that I had last year before. I have obviously, like a few of us have, seen ponds with that are running RO, and the fish skin is really good. But obviously you have to watch things like KH and then pH. It's just more hassle than it's worth it for me at the minute. Not saying it doesn't work, but for me, no. Martin, will I be buying more fish? Obviously the aim of the game is to buy more fish, because that's why we have a pond, isn't it? But I want to get my heater line sorted, and then I'm probably going to go against everything I'm saying now. I just want to get the heater line sorted and then run it for a few more months, maybe till spring, early summer next year, and then potentially look at adding another few fish, maybe taking a couple out. Don't know, we'll see. I like a pond with a lot of fish in it, but obviously when you've got a lot more fish you need to be a bit more on the ball with filters and your biological filter and stuff. So I don't know at the minute. I'm happy with as it is. I'm not happy with the amount of fish that I lost, but at the minute looks alright, especially with a couple new additions in there. Just gives me eye something different to look at, so I'm not quite so crazy always looking online at fish and spending money on fish when I should be spending it on my heater and getting the rest of that sorted. I'm not sure what that's in relation to, Gary Smith. 25 kilos, 75 quid. I presume you're talking about food, maybe? People turn their pumps off over winter. No, you don't want to be doing that. You want to leave everything on. The fish are always going to produce a bit of waste, because there's always something for them to munch on the side. And there will be... Your biological filter doesn't completely die from winter. Obviously it gets knocked way back and there isn't as much. But you don't want to turn it off. You want to leave everything on. Air, showers if you can cover it, because obviously it will cool the water. So if you can, put a cover over it, but just leave everything on. How many fish did I lose last? Oh, God knows. Probably 10. Maybe 10 fish. I mean, if you look back on some of my older videos, or even on the YouTube page, the intro video, you can see that there was a few more fish in the pond, but obviously in between that I bought some fish and been unlucky and lost some fish, so I estimate about 10 fish. I didn't try and count, to be honest, because I was so mad and upset with it all. I just let it be and just managed to get through it. Graham Johnson, what's your oldest fish and how old is it? Well, the oldest fish will probably be the big shag. I think I've had that maybe 3 years, and it was probably 4 to 5 years old when I got it, so it might be 7, 8 years old, I'd say. Bought that off another hobbyist down in Cambridge Way. Yeah, the pond's about 1.5 foot deep-ish. Hasn't got the shine yet. Yeah, it's getting there, I think. It doesn't help that obviously there's a bit of weed on the walls and a bit of green in and around on the walls and the floor of the pond, so you don't quite get that sparkle if there's a black background. But after my initial dose, there's definitely an extra little sparkle in the water, definitely. So when I get the heater sorted, what temperatures? Yeah, I'm not completely sure yet. I mean, because it's an air source heat pump, I will be sort of keeping an eye on the ambient air temps, and then just sort of follow that for the month, really. So if I know it's going to be a chilly-ish month, I don't really want to be heating to 20 degrees if the air temps are going to be down to sort of 12. It'll cost me a fortune to run. So yeah, haven't got a heating regime sorted, but as I say, I'll just main focus will be just watching the ambient air temps and just keeping an eye on it and adjusting if need, either up or down. With regards to covering the shower, Martin, it's not a completely airtight cover, although it is a polycarb cover. The top, there's gaps around the top and around the side, so there is some gas exchange. Obviously not as much as you'd get when it's just sort of freestanding, but there is enough. And with all the problems I had last year and the year before, I did actually take the shower apart after winter and had a look in it after having the covers on, and there was no, it didn't smell inside, there was no mould growth, there was none of that kind of junk inside, so I'm happy to cover it that way again. Oh, that's quite cheap then, Gary, that clay. 25 kilos for 75 quid, was it? What was the cause of the death? Well, I don't actually know exactly what it was. I did have some kind of unbelievable strain of bacteria, but how I got that I don't know. I think it was just a combination of a few things. Maybe adding a fish, some junk in my filter system, and my water purifiers as well weren't that clean. It's been a while since I changed them, so I think it was just a combination of a lot of things, but I haven't actually pinpointed it to one thing, but just I think a small combination of lots of things. A bit late at night to be, yeah, I know, Devon Koi Pond. If only. Should know by now, I don't like to rush these things. Take as long as possible, slow and steady. Unless I'm out on my bike, then I'm hammering it. Anything to do with the pond, slow and steady. Seth UK, have I got mid-water returns or just going over the shower? I've got 2 mid-water returns. There's one which is about, there's the shower, it's about a foot and a bit down, maybe a 45-50 centimetres down from the top over there, and I've got one on this wall which I've got nothing in at the moment. So that return that's under the water here is from the K1 chamber. So yeah, 2 mid-water returns, 1 redundant. It's just, I put 2 in, well, I run them both actually when I initially started because I had a completely different filtration system. He's getting braver, the achiever, look. John Atkins, gin clear. Wow. If you'd seen my last video, you'd seen that I put an additive in the pond. Might be worth going to have a look. I don't normally add anything to the pond, but this is the first time I've done it. And it has made a slight difference, but I think the drum filter does the majority of the work. If I built the pond again, is there anything I would change? Yeah, loads. I think instead of, so this is Trevor, instead of having a planted area over the back here, I'd rather have bricked this up or covered this and had all my filtration behind in here rather than at the side of the pond. Not that you can see it here. I'd have rather had it all there, just all out the way. I could have had it all covered, so if I'd have needed to fix anything or bodge anything or whatever, I could have done it over there, and I could have had all of this side completely free rather than having this bay, which is a bit of a ball ache, to be honest, but hey ho. As I say, my filtration system over the years has completely changed from my initial Nexus 210 to then having a drum and a shower. It would have made things a lot easier, but as we all know, when you dig in a pond you get mud upon mud upon mud, and I was trying to control a budget-ish, a very small one, so it was decided that I was going to put it here. It did cross my mind to put that there, put the filtration over this side, but as I say, funds didn't really allow it. Other than that, that's probably the biggest thing. I mean, I've done a few changes over the years, like covering it. I should have covered it straight away. Just good, it keeps all the rain out, so you don't have to worry about that. Then likewise sun, it keeps the sun off of it as well. But I think I did that about a year after finishing it eventually. Yeah, chags always bring everyone around. I mean, the pond actually completely changed when I got this one here, Francis, which I bought. It's the first proper fish, well, I'd quite say proper fish, but the first fish that I bought, because I had an initial stocking of some freebies off of somebody, and she was, from the off, she was friendly. Yeah, Devon Koi Pond, I will be covering the pond and the shower. Someone did ask earlier actually. I'm not exactly sure when, but probably looking at next week's temps, maybe not too far away. It's not raining here at the minute, thank God. I think maybe you can have a bit too much of a return, because obviously you do want some dwell time in your filters if you're running like K1 or a static media. You don't want to just push it through too quick, and then likewise you'll be jetting the water in a bit too fast for the fish to, especially when it's a bit cooler, if you're not heated, when there's a bit more lethargic, you don't want the water whizzing in too fast. Frances is awesome, yeah, she's a good girl. Do you ever get herons after your fish? Graham Johnson. No. I've seen herons here actually. Before the new housing estate was built over the back, well, there's still some trees right over the other side, some huge oak trees, and crows nest in them. Now, as soon as the crows ever saw the heron flying over or just standing in the field, don't ask me why they do, but they just did, crows would actually fight them off and chase them and cause an absolute racket. So no herons, luckily. Again, another reason for covering it, because if you do get that kind of thing flying over, you want it covered. Not to say that the heron couldn't jump in, but they just can't see the water. Have I missed much? Maybe. Depends what you mean by much. No rain in Manchester. No. Bit of a mix today, isn't it, with the weather? So I got absolutely soaked today in York. It was disgusting the whole day. No wind here today, Phil, thank the Lord. How much food am I feeding tonight? I don't know, as little as possible, but I don't seem to be achieving that. Oh. Is that focus? Sorry. Yeah. I don't know how much I've put in. I should have measured an amount out and put it in a bowl really, but as I was rushing around because I got in late, I'd have had to use my brain for that as well. Yeah, I mean, although the crows can be a bit annoying because they're bloody noisy, I never really was bothered by them, because of them chasing off the heron that I'd seen a few times. And there's quite a lot of walkways around here. There's lots of lakes, and I live near the River Trent as well, so there's a lot of them kind of birds around here. Tommy D been putting a fence in all day. Oh joy, it's in the rain. What's my favourite variety of koi? I think I'm going to be boring and say chag, just because they seem to have a different kind of personality to other fish. But then to look at, and probably, even though I've only got one, Showa is my other favourite variety. I lost a couple of Showa, a couple of really nice Showa actually last year, but I've only got one at the minute. It's this little one here. And seems to have got to around about 45 centimetres and just, that's it. Not really done a lot. A bit more sumi coming through on it, but it's not really grown much. Graham Johnson, possibly, who knows. I know they've just seen them attacking the herons in the sky. Tommy D, I've just had 100 chags off of New Forest koi at 1 inch. Blimey, you're going to be busy feeding them buggers. Yeah, you look at a chag and they're just a little bit boring, aren't they? Just single colour fish, varying shades of brown and whatever. But I don't know. There's just something about them. Mind you, I do like, I'll be a bit biased here, I do like my Shiro still. Absolutely love it. Now the water's a bit cooler as well. The sumi's really thickened up a lot on it. Dazzling M. How much do I think I've spent all in? Oh, I don't, not a clue. A few £1,000s. When you look at buying fish and food and treatments and all of that kind of jazz, it's, you know, it's silly money really, isn't it? But it's what we do. Devon Koi Pond. You've only got 5 or 6 at hand feed. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Some fish, I mean, some of mine don't hand feed, but if I put my hand in with a ton of food, the majority of them will come over. Obviously I'll get the chags trying to bite my hand off, but the Shiro does it now, and that never used to. So even the smaller kahaku's coming up. There we go, look, you just get busted out of the way now, but yeah, they never used to. I think since after I got the initial first chag, Francis, and then I got another one, maybe Frank, because there was a bit more competition in there, and if you keep them a little bit hungry, there's a bit more competition. It sort of makes them a bit braver, because if they're starving, they'll then come up. Yeah, there shouldn't be any problem, Tommy D, with growing them. Actually, I don't know whether you've seen, but this little fish here, I say little, 60 odd cm now, that one, chubs, I actually had from that big. It was actually in a video a while back where I put these stills from 2 and a bit years ago in, comparing to what she's like now. Reasonably easy to grow, because they just tend to be quite greedy. It's in their makeup, I think, to just eat. So good luck with that. Better have an exit plan if you've got 100 or a decent sized pond, because they won't take long to grow. Merrick. No, the koi advantage. Always the way, isn't it? People do say different things and do and don't like different things, so it's always going to cause some kind of debate and conversation, but hey ho. I'm always that way as well. What works for one doesn't work for another, but you don't know until you've tried something yourself, so. Christopher Galley, how's the Shiro's eye now? Yeah, it's not bad now. It's obviously not red anymore. It's still a little tiny bit to grow back, but I presume that's because it's the head of the koi. There's not a lot of blood flow, and you probably won't even be able to pick it out in the video. It's a slight indentation on the inside of the eye, but it's nearly there. I mean, I would imagine next year, hopefully, it's just completely disappeared and you wouldn't even know. You only notice they had an eye issue because there's a slight indentation on the bottom of his eye. Would you fit a window next time around, or do you think? Yeah, it's a tough one, the window, isn't it? Because you're looking at the fish from the side. I did contemplate doing a retrofit window because the house, that window there, is a living room window, and obviously the pond is here. So if I had a big window here and we didn't have the blind down, you'd be able to see into the fish, into the pond and see the fish. But because I've got a liner, and it would have been a retrofit, as in afterwards, after I'd done the pond, I just thought maybe it would just cause too much aggro. But I think if I did anything again, I'd probably put a window in, as you say, there. Yeah, Edinburgh. I might be going to that actually. A few of us might be popping down at some point soon. I'm not sure if it's that event that we'll be going to, but it's got some cracking fish, Edinburgh, actually. Will I let them spawn or save any babies? No, I'm not into that. Too much hassle. I think they have spawned a couple of times this year, but it's not something that I'm interested in doing. I had a bit of a dabble a couple of years back, just too much hassle. It's not something I want to do. And plus, look, I've got a mixture of fish, so I'm going to end up with some absolute rotters, maybe a fry, and weird odd colours and mixtures. And I don't want to start separating fish and things, so not for me. $22,000 litres, what's that? It's got to be about 5,500 to 6,000 gallons. That's a good sized pond, and if it's heated, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to get into a decent size Tommy D. Yeah, it does look odd when I agree with you a bit there, just little me. Seeing the fish from the side can be a bit odd, especially if they're a bit heavy underneath and have a bit of a belly, which you wouldn't normally see from the top. You see them from the side, it can make them look a little bit odd shaped. I wouldn't, pain in the arse to keep clean. There is that, and as I'm a window cleaner, it'd be the last thing I want to do is bloody clean the window on the pond. So I don't even clean the windows on the house that often. 17th of November. Okay, I'll have a look. I'm not sure if that's what we were talking about, me and a couple of guys going down to, or it was a different thing. But if I'm free, I may pop down. It's a bit of a drive for me, but you never know. Don't be so cheeky, Dan. I'm a window cleaner. I know what I'm doing. Just don't do it very often. How much food have I done this summer? Oh, God knows. Probably. What the hell? The cat. Let's try and think. How much was in the bucket? Yeah, probably similar to you, maybe 30-40 kilos of food. I think this year definitely had more food than I've had for God knows how long, because I haven't had any issues this year, so I've been able to layer up the food in. Yeah, ain't that the truth, Tommy D? Kids always take your money, don't they? Yeah, I mean, that is the plus point of a window, being able to see the fish from the side. And if there's something you can't see that's under the fish, again, you wouldn't know until you either took the fish out or there was a mark or something on the top of the fish to make you get it out. Oh dear, pond's been warmer than the house, I know. It's been absolutely horrible, isn't it, this week, temperature-wise. Right, I'm going to have to wrap this up in a minute. My phone's telling me I've got 8% of battery left. Obviously, because I've been sitting in the car all afternoon, coming back. Didn't have a chance to charge it. So a quick thanks everybody that's popped in to have a quick chat, ask the questions and just have a babble on. Am I on a water meter? No, thank God. I probably wouldn't have a pond if I was. No, I'm chucking food in like crazy at the minute. No problem, Phil. I'm going to get that skimmer done. Don't worry, don't worry. No, I don't know about next week, but I'm going to try and do one a month. Might be a bit different in the winter, but you never know. There we go, I'm down to 6% now. Okay, so I'm going to end it here. Thanks for everyone that popped in. And I'll catch you soon at some point on the YouTube channel. Thank you very much. Night night.